You hear that? That's rain. It's falling. That's gravity. That's smoke. Is it going down? Gravity does that too. Look, gravity is just a word that is used among men. That's what it is. A situation has a gravity to it. A problem has a gravity to it. People have gravity to them. The earth doesn't have a gravity. The world has a gravity, because the world is not the earth. And that's the whole thing that everybody has to realize, that the world is not the earth. So the earth can be a globe. What goes around comes around. Got you. The earth, I'm not saying it's flat. I'm saying level, because there's levels to it. So the earth is level. So what is the definition of gravity? Gravity is something that pulls something in because of the weight of it, right? The weight of it. So you can have a problem that is just so big, and the gravity of it is just so large that it pulls in certain types of elements. Elements, not like on the periodic table. Elements such as individuals, variables, right? People are attracted to things that have high gravity, all right? So why did you say gravity? This is the real definition of gravity. The reason I say that is the gravity of the situation is just pulling everybody to the flat earth topic. It's pulling everybody to the globe Taj versus the flat Taj and all this. That's gravity, right? Gravity. You go onto ClickBank, guess what? They're going to say this product has this gravity. Not the weight, but the pull that it has. That's a person environment. Gravity. The gravity of the situation, man, is out of control. Right? Cool. I understand. Y'all like gravity is what's pulling the stuff down to. No, that's not what's making the things fall. Because nothing is falling. If anything, it's being pushed down. It's being pushed. And through medium. So somebody said, well, if that's the case, then when things fall down, it's to slow down when they get closer to the ground. How do you know it doesn't slow down? How do you know that the viscosity of the air doesn't slow down anything? I mean, you can wave your hand, you can move the air around. So if you can move the air around, I'm guaranteeing that it pretty much slows down if it's thinner higher up. So it can go faster, it can drop faster, possibly higher up. And then the friction starts to hit it because it's starting to change environments, and the viscosity or the density of the environment around it dictates how fast it is allowed to move. And the resistance is going to be the heat that is created. That's why you see these movies coming in and it starts to catch on fire when they're coming back in the Earth atmosphere, because it is now supposedly hitting friction that wasn't there. Okay? So, why do things fall? Why is it being pushed down is the question. Why is it being pushed down? So, if we're going to go into why it's being pushed down, I'm going to have to just say this. If we have an encasement over us, as proposed, the gases are trying to escape. And the ones that is lighter goes up. So when it goes up, it's putting pressure against... Okay, you understand that? It's putting pressure against... Yeah, exactly. So what happens when you push on it, it pushes back. So anything inside of it is being pushed. You're either being pushed up or you're being pushed down. You're not falling. Okay? You're not falling. Without a push, there really cannot be a pull in any way, shape, or form. When you play tug of war, you like, I'm pulling, but your feet is pushing. Your feet is pushing. You're pushing. the opposite way to create the pull the opposite way. You can't have the pull without the push. You can't have a fall without a push. Okay? You're being pushed down. You're being pushed down. You're not being pulled. You're being pushed down. When you drop things like boop, and you be like shoo, being pushed down. The same way that you can take your hand, you be like this, and I catch it before I hit the ground. Catch it. I'm pushing my hand. I'm not pulling. I'm pushing my hand to move faster. Okay? So if you want to have a better example, take your favorite bottle of hair grease, whatever, okay, and put it into a bowl, and then slowly, very slowly, just continue to add water. Once the volume equalizes, the container will no longer touch the bottom of the vessel, the bowl, okay, the carrier. It's not going to touch the bottom no more because it's going to start to elevate because the volume to volume ratio. All right. So, not everything has this same effect, right? Because somebody's going to say, well, there's air inside of it, so you got that play part, and then the materials is made of this, and then you got the plastic, which has this buoyancy. You got all these. What about rocks that you drop and it goes to the bottom? Isn't the volume way bigger? So how does that work? Why doesn't the rock float? Because the volume is much greater than the little pebble that you drop in. It's because the surrounding density doesn't correlate. Okay, so the volume is there. The rock is not going to just drop real fast all the way to the bottom. It's going to drop, and it's going to take the pace that it's being pushed down at, because it's still going to be pushed down. Why? Because the density is not similar. There's no similarities in the density, and because the similarities is not there, one pushed up, the other is being pushed down. Okay, so as the rock is getting pushed down, the rock is also pushing the water up. How does that work? That doesn't make sense. You're totally retarded. I hear you. I know you don't get it, but look at it this way. Scientists will tell you when you stand on the ground, you're pushing on the ground, and the ground is pushing back upon you, right? So why do things fall? Because the atmosphere is pushing against the containment, and the containment is pushing back down. So anything in there has to be pushed down too, because the atmosphere is being pushed down upon as it's trying to push out. So it's pushing out because it's trying to get up there. I'm trying to get up there. And it's like, nope, back down. Back down. So the rule is, well, if I got to go back down, you got to go back down. You can't elevate if I can't elevate. And if the ground wasn't in the way, guess what? You'll still be going down until you come into a viscosity where it says, hey, you're buoyant still, right? Walking on the ground, you're buoyant. Being in the water, you're buoyant. Unless you're taking enough water, replace the oxygen, now you're not as buoyant. You know, you're going to start to, I might start to settle in down to the bottom. Why? Because the buoyancy is based upon the density. And the density of a body accumulates for the bones, it accumulates for the oxygen, it accumulates for the meat, it accumulates for the tissues, it accumulates for tendons, it accumulates for any part of your anatomy. Okay? Your density affects where you stay. You can have the density in the balloon perfect so it can float and not go up and not go down, but stay in a zone of density. A zone of density, not gravity, because it's going to where it is. Like everything in life is an equalizer. It has to equalize. Under a pressure system, things equalize. Okay, sedimentary rocks, equalization. You have to understand the water wants to find level. Everything wants to be level. Everything wants to level itself out. That's only logical. You shoot the ball, it's going to roll to a part that it's level. It's going to roll down the hill. Why is it rolling down the hill? The gravity is pulling it. No, it's being pushed until it can equalize. Once it equalizes, it stops. I got a lot of information I'm going to give y'all. Pay me no mind. You know, I might be a little bit batty, but I got a lot of information I would love to share for you, and I can give you the numbers and everything. I don't want this to go too long. I want to see if it gets sticker shock. See if anybody want to holler back and say, nah, man, I challenge you to a debate. Cool, because I'm not dropping all the knowledge right here. Why? So you can go and try to contradict it and have Bill Nye, the science guy, going in and say, oh, they was wrong back in the day. We got it right now because we got the technology they didn't have 2,000 years ago. Or we got the technology they didn't have 200 years ago. Or the thing is, the greatest fear is if we are in the containment, there is a creator. And if there's a creator, then we have an obligation to what? Mind blown.